Welcome, geometry students, to the homework help video, page 236. Let's go ahead and get started with numbers 4 through 8, okay? The directions say to match the segment with its name. So here we go. Okay, well, it looks like to me, guys, we would have this right here is a segment that runs from the vertex to the opposite side, so that it's perpendicular to the opposite side. We call that an altitude. So number 5 is altitude. So number 5 should have letter A with it. Okay, moving on. Now this triangle here, notice something. Notice that this segment here is congruent to the segment here. Oh, not good. Not good. Hold on one second. Notice that this segment here is congruent to the segment here. So this is a midpoint right here. Notice this segment here is congruent to the segment here, so this is the midpoint here. So we have a line that's connecting two midpoints, the midpoints of two sides. We call that a mid-segment, okay? So letter B should be over here with number 8. Okay, there we go. Now, triangle C. What we have here, guys, is we have a segment that's drawn from one side to another in such a way that, notice this segment here is congruent to this segment here, so this is the midpoint, and it's also perpendicular. So this line right here is called a perpendicular bisector, okay? So number 7 should have the letter C with it. Okay, now let's look at triangle D. Notice we have a line drawn from one vertex to the opposite side in such a way that it hits the midpoint right here, because this segment here is congruent to this segment here. We call that a median. So number 4 should have the letter D with it. Okay? And then lastly, obviously this is an angle bisector because look, this line here is drawn from the vertex to an opposite side in such a way that this angle here is congruent to this angle here. So letter C would be, or number 6 would have letter C, angle bisector. Okay? And that's it, guys. All right, moving on to number 9. Actually, numbers 9 through 16. Okay? And they're kind of cut off here. I'll fix that real quick. 9, 10, this would be 11, this would be 13, this would be 15, and this would be 16 right here. Okay. Now, here we go. Let's take a look at this diagram here, guys, before we take a look at it, or before we get into working the problems out here. Let me show you some stuff you probably need to see, okay? Notice that this is a midpoint, okay? Because of this mark here and this mark here. Notice this is a midpoint here because of 2 marks here and 2 marks here, okay? Notice that this is a midpoint here because of 3 marks here and 3 marks here, okay? So guys, what we have then is we have mid-segments. This is a mid-segment. This here is a mid-segment. And this is a mid-segment here. So please don't forget that, okay? So here we go. LM is parallel to what segment? Well, guys, look, this is a mid-segment. Then we know it's parallel to the third side. So LM is parallel to BC. Number 10. AB is parallel to what? Well, here's AB. And we know if this is a mid-segment right here, which it is, then we know that MN has to be parallel to AB. So AB is parallel to MN. Number 11. AC is 14, okay? So here's AC. This whole length all the way across is 14. Okay? All the way across. If AC is 14, what's the length of LN? Well, students, remember, this is a mid-segment, and this the side is parallel to. So the mid-segment is always half the length of the side it's parallel to. So this is 14, then LN has to be 7. There we go. Just like that. Not too difficult, okay? 7. Okay, number 12. MN is 8. So here's MN. and that has a length of 8. What is the measurement of AB? Well, that's the side. AB is the side that's parallel to MN. And remember, MN is the mid-segment. So the side here, AB, will be twice as big as the mid-segment. So segment AB, if this is 8, segment AB has to be 16. Okay? Has to be 16. Okay, number 13. NC is 3. Here's NC right here. NC is 3. What is the length of LM? Now, guys, look carefully. Here's LM right here, parallel to the side here. Now, remember, if this segment here is 3, then this segment up here is also 3. So the whole segment is 6. So if this whole segment is 6, then the mid-segment is half of that. So LM has to be 3. Okay? 3. Okay, number 14. LN equals 5. Right here. LN equals 5. Then what equals 10? What segment equals 10? Well, students, LN is a mid-segment parallel to the side here. And we know the parallel side is going to be twice as big as the mid-segment. So if this is 5, then AC would have to be 10. Okay? So segment AC is what equals 10. Okay, and here it is right here, AC. Okay, number 15. A little algebra here. Now please watch this carefully, students, okay? LM is 3x plus 1. So 3x plus 1. BC is 10x minus 6. So this whole segment here is 10x minus 6. Now, if I want to set these two phrases equal, watch this. 3x plus 1 equals 10x minus 6. I cannot set them equal, students, unless I take the shorter side, which is 3x plus 1, and multiply it by what? 2. Because, guys, this segment here is smaller than this side over here. So I take the smaller side, multiply it by 2, because we know, students, that the mid-segment right here is always going to be half of the entire segment over here. So let's take this, let's go ahead and solve the equation now, and then we can solve for the length of LM. So here we go. Take your 2 and multiply it through, and you'll have 6x plus 2. Bring your 10x over and make it a negative 10x. Bring your positive 2 over and make it a negative 2. And we're left with negative 4x equals negative 8. Now divide both sides by negative 4. And x equals 2. Because negative 8 divided by negative 4 is 2. Now that's not your answer. They're asking you to find the length of LM. So what is LM, guys? It's right here. 3x plus 1. What is x? 2. So where the x is, put a 2. So I have 3x, put a 2 there, plus 1. So what's the entire length? 7. There we go, 7. Okay? So the answer would be 7. Okay, let's take a look at our last one, and we'll be finished with this section. Okay, here we go. In M, the segment right here is x minus 1. Okay, in AB, this entire segment here is 3x minus 7. So it's the exact same problem all over again, okay? We can take x minus 1, the smaller segment, and multiply it by 2. And then it will equal the longer segment, which is 3x minus 7. Now go ahead and solve for x. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. We'll bring our x's over to this side this time, so bring your 2x over here and make it a negative 2x. Bring your negative 7 over and make it a positive 7. So you're left with 5 equals x. Okay? Now, that's not what they asked you to solve for. They want to know the length of AB. The length of AB. So here's AB right here. 3x minus 7. So 3x, that's 3 times 5 minus 7. So 15 minus 7 is 8, which is the correct answer. Okay? So pretty good stuff here, mixing in a little algebra and geometry together, okay? All right, moving on to number 2017. Okay, they want us to find the mid-segment, the coordinates of the endpoints of each mid-segment. Now, here's your mid-segments right here. Here, we're going to do these really quickly, guys, okay? There. So, guys, this is a midpoint of this line. This is a midpoint of this line. This is a midpoint of this line. How do you find the midpoint? D. How do you find D? Remember how to find the midpoint, guys? It's so easy. It's x plus x divided by 2, y plus y divided by 2. So easy. So here's your 2 points, here and here. So x plus x, 0 plus 4 divided by 2, y plus y, 0 plus 6 divided by 2, 2 comma 3. So there's this point right here. Letter D is 2 comma 3. Okay, now let's find the midpoint between these 2 points here, B and C. So here we go. X plus x, 4 plus 8 is 12 divided by 2. Y plus y, 6 plus 2 is 8 divided by 2. So the midpoint would be 6 comma 4. So there we go. 6 comma 4 is the midpoint. Now let's find the midpoint between A and C. So here we go. X plus x, 0 plus 8 is 8 divided by 2. Y plus y, 0 plus 2 is 2 divided by 2. So 4, 1. 4, 1 is this point right here. 4 comma 1. Here we go. That's really simple. Let's try this again, okay? Let's go on to number 18. All right, here we go. Here's A, here's B. Let's find the midpoint right here, okay? So we have -2 plus 3 would be 1 divided by 2. 0 plus 5 would be 5 divided by 2. Now, if you want to use decimals, that's fine. You are more than welcome to leave your answer like this. Or you're also welcome to put 0.5 comma 2.5. Either way is fine, okay? So there's the ordered pair for letter D. Now, let's take a look at, let's find the midpoint between B and C. Okay, so here we go. 3 plus 8 would be 11. So 11 divided by 2. 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 divided by 2. So there's your answer. Okay, you're more than welcome to leave it like that. I have no problem with that. Or you could also put 5.5, 2.5. Either way is fine, okay? All right, our last one here. Let's see, we have the midpoint between this point and this point here, okay? So what would that be? We would have -2 plus 8, that would be 6, divided by 2. Then we have 0 plus 0, that's 0, divided by 2. So we would have 3 comma 0 for the midpoint. Okay? 3 comma 0. There we go. Alright, so not too difficult, guys. Really not. Okay, moving on to number 19. Here we go. Here's letter A, letter B. Let's find this midpoint right here, okay? And here we go. We would have 0 plus 8 is 8 divided by 2. We would have 4 plus 6 is 10 divided by 2. So your answer would be 4 comma 5. 4 comma 5. Okay, so there we go. Alright, let's find the midpoint between B and C. So this point right here, okay? Here we go. 8 plus 4 is 12, so 12 divided by 2. 6 plus 0 is 6 divided by 2. So your answer would be 6 comma 3. Here we go, point E, okay? Okay, moving on to this here, we're going to find the midpoint between A and C. So this midpoint here, okay? So x plus x would be 4 divided by 2. Y plus y would be 4 divided by 2. So the midpoint would be 2 comma 2. There we go. Really pretty simple stuff, guys. Not too bad. Okay? Alright, continuing on. Here we go. Now, the reason I put number 18, this is number 22. Okay? We're going to do number 21. But here's the thing. They want us to use number 18. So, here's what they want us to do. So it's really cool. They want us to prove or verify that DE is a midsegment. Okay, so first of all, think about this, okay? if DE is truly a midsegment, remember the segment here will be half the length of this segment here. So guys, watch what I do. I'm going to find the distance of this segment right here. Okay, now we already know this point here. We found it earlier back on 18. Let's see where it is here. 11 over 2 and 5 over 2. So here we go. I'm going to find the distance of DE using the distance formula. So here's the distance formula. X minus x quantity squared, and you guys should know this, okay? Plus y minus y quantity squared. Square root of that. So here we go. X minus x is going to be, let me get my calculator out here real quick. So we have this point here, and this point here. We're going to find the distance, okay? So, negative 2 plus 11 halves would be 3.5. Feel free to use a calculator, guys. That's what I did. Okay, it's a lot faster. So use a calculator. Now y minus y. 0 minus 5 halves. Well, 0, y minus y. Y minus y. 0 minus 5 halves would be negative 2.5. Okay, now I'm going to square each of these. So 3.5 squared is going to be 12.25. Plus 2.5 squared is going to be 6.25. Okay, we're going to add these two together and we're going to get 18.5. Now let's go ahead and shelf that answer and put it over here for a second, okay? So that's the distance or the length of AE. Now let's find the length of now let's find the length of the segment that's parallel to DE, which would be the segment down here, segment AC, and it should be twice as big, okay? So we'll see if it is. So we have points negative 2, 0, and 8, 0. So here we go, distance formula. X minus x, negative 2 minus 8 would be negative 10 squared, plus y minus y would be 0. So that would give us, hold on one second here. Okay, students, if we take y minus y, we're going to get 0. 0 minus 0 squared. So if we square this, we get 100. Square this, we get 0. Add them together, and we get the square root of 100. Okay, which is 10. So 10 is the length of AC. So guys, just trust me. If you take this, take the square root of it, and multiply it by 2, you will get this here. Okay, so we have shown that this segment here, right here, is half the length of this segment here. Or in other words, this segment here is twice as big as this segment here. Okay, now let's prove that they're parallel. Okay, well, parallel lines have the same slope. I'm not going to take a lot of time and do that because we can see, guys, that this is a horizontal line, and horizontal lines always have a slope of, do you remember, 0. And so here's another horizontal line, and its slope will also be 0. So they have the same slope, so they're parallel. So there we go. So we use the slope to show the two lines are parallel. We use the distance formula to show that one segment is twice as big as the other segment. Okay, and that's all they wanted us to do on this one. And this is number 21 using number 18, okay? Okay, number 23. Which of the angles are congruent in this figure? Well, guys, I'm going to take this real quick and turn it like this. There we go. Now look what we have, guys. Remember, this was a mid-segment. Well, first of all, notice the segment here is congruent to the segment here. So this is a midpoint. And notice the segment here is congruent to the segment here. So we have a midpoint. Okay, so if we have a line connecting two midpoints, then the segment here is called a mid-segment. Okay, so if it's a mid-segment, then we know that this line here is parallel to this line here, right? So we have two parallel lines cut by a transversal. So I'm going to use numbers. Numbers are a lot easier. I'm going to say this angle here, number 1, is congruent to this angle here, number 2, because they're corresponding angles, and corresponding angles are always congruent. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Now I'm going to put let me erase this transversal here. Now look at this transversal here, guys. Here's two parallel lines cut by transversal right here, okay? Well, remember, corresponding angles are congruent. So this angle here, we'll call it 3, is congruent to this angle here, we'll call it 4. So angle 3 is congruent to angle 4, okay? There we go. They're just reviewing here, making sure you understand that a mid-segment is parallel to the third side. Okay, moving on to number 24. Okay, CD is 12, so this whole length here is 12 all the way across. So I'm going to make it easier. I'm just going to put a 6 here and a 6 here, okay? GF is 7. Here's GF. Now notice, guys, that GF is a mid-segment, okay, because this here is a midpoint, and point F is a midpoint. So this is a mid-segment. So if GF is a mid-segment and GF is 7, which it is, it says right here, then that means this entire length over here, this whole length here, has to be twice as big, 14. Okay, so I'm going to put a 7 here and a 7 here. And then they tell us that GC is 4. So from here to here is 4. So if that's the case, then BG is also 4. And if you add up all of these sides, 8 plus 12 plus 14, you will get the perimeter of triangle BCD, which is the whole big triangle here. Okay? And the answer is 34. Okay, not too difficult. Okay, one more problem, we're done. Okay, let's find these are the endpoints of these are the midpoints of the sides of a triangle. So let's go over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, up 3. Okay. And the other point would be 7, 4. And then 5, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. So these points here are the midpoints of the sides of triangles. Now, let's come over here and draw a triangle that kind of represents that, okay, just to help us a little bit. So let's come over here, bring this over a little bit, and let's see what we have here. We would have a triangle that, that's the midpoint, so we have a triangle that looks like this. Okay, there we go, guys. Okay, this would be a triangle here that kinda, not perfectly, but kinda represents these points over here. Now watch this. These points right here, students, are these points. These points here are the midpoints of the sides of a triangle, and they want us to find these points here, the vertices, the ordered pairs of the vertices of the triangle. So look. Think about it, students. I'm probably going to need a little more room here. Let me slide this out of the way real quick here. Okay, now look, students. If I draw this segment here like this, it's going to be parallel to this side here. So I'm going to draw this here. And this is not right here. Hold on one second. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's try this again. Okay, 4, 3, 7, 4, 5, 2. There we go. Okay, very good. Now, this segment here, students, would be very similar to the segment here. Okay, now what is the slope of this line? Because remember, this line here is going to be parallel to the side of the triangle over here. Okay, the slopes will be the same. So the slope here is over 1, up 1. Okay, or we can say over 1, down 1. So I'm going to go over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1. Okay, I'm going to go up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1. I'm not sure how long to make that side, but that looks pretty good, okay? So I'm going to make a pretty long side over here. Okay, there we go. Now, students, notice this segment here. If I were to draw this segment here, right here, that would be parallel to this side here. Okay, so I'm going to draw this segment here, and it will be parallel to this side over here. So the slope of this line will be the same as the slope of the side over here. So the slope of this line is up 1 over 3. So for me, this point here, I'm going to have to go up 1 over 3. Right here, it's this point right here, perfect. Up 1 over 3. So there it is. So good. I have found one of the vertices of my triangle, okay? Up 1 over 3, we'll go down 1 over 3 here. I've got a pretty good idea. So there's one vertex right there I found for the triangle. Go ahead and put that in green. Okay, there we go. Now, over here, students, I can draw this mid-segment, which would be parallel to this side here. I can draw this mid-segment here, which will be parallel to this side over here. Now, what is the slope of this mid-segment? Well, it's over 2 to the right and up 2. So from this point here, I can go over 2, up 2, and look at that, I hit that point right there. And then I can go over 2, down 2. Look, I hit that point right there. So perfect. Okay, so there it is. So I have all 3 vertices of my triangle just like that, okay? 1, 2, 3. So this point here would be over 6 and up 5. So 6, comma 5. Okay? Now, this point here, right here, would be over 1, no, over 2, and then up 1. So this ordered pair here would be 2, comma 1. This ordered pair here would be over 8, and then up 3. So 8, comma 3. Now I'm kind of scared to look at the answers. I hope that we're right here, okay? We've probably made a mistake somewhere, but we will see. And let's see, 6, 5, 8, 3, 2, 1. Good, we got it right, okay? So there's the 3 vertices of the triangle. Students, I hope this homework help video has been a help to you guys. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call or email. Ask